Greetings fellow traders, this is Max and welcome to my Sunday market analysis where I'm going to analyze the market and share with you my top trades for the upcoming week. For this week I have selected 4 pairs and it was not really easy to find suitable and good trading pairs for the coming week, I have to say that. You probably recognize some pairs from last week, we will go over that in a second, and of course CAD CHF is the pair from last week which is not featured in this week's list, so we'll have a look at this pair later on in the video to see how it has performed. So stay tuned for that. Now without further ado, let's jump right into it and let's talk about those 4 pairs. And we'll start here with the pair AUDCAD. For AUDCAD, I've chosen a potential long trade. And what you can see, AUDCAD has been in a really steep uptrend for a long time, so I expect a bigger correction anytime soon. Which is why I'm a bit skeptical about this trade, but if you see, we have a round psychological level, the 0.95 round psychological level, and an area of interest the price has reacted to several times. And now the recent weekly candlestick broke through this level and I'm waiting now for a retest on the newly forming weekly candlestick to retest this area. Even on the daily chart here, I would like to see some further liquidity grab when the new week is starting. This might look like quite a big and significant correction here on the weekly chart. However, this is the plan that I'm looking for. I'm pretty much looking for also some kind of higher low here. So I just want to see a decent wick down and then maybe a chance to open a position on AUDCAD and profit off of a potential continuation to the upside. However, this pair has been in an uptrend for quite some time and I'm a little careful with it. But as you can see right now, the pair seems to be going strong to the upside. It has been ranging for certain periods now and then it has still continued to the upside. So maybe this is going to happen here. Maybe there's going to be a reaction or a correction down into this area again for some time. Maybe it will range and then it might finally continue to the upside, and I would like to profit off of that. So I'm waiting for price to come back into the zone and then give me an entry signal to open a long position on AUDCAD. The next pair on my list is GBPCAD, and this has been a pair on my list last week. And on GBPCAD I even opened a long position, but I closed it a little earlier when it had a significant correction. And normally I wait for it to hit my stop loss that I set initially, but the last week was a bit difficult and wild in certain market moves here. And I was waiting all the time for a higher low here on GBPCAD to open the long position. It was around this area here where I decided to open the position, but then we had a really significant correction to the downside, which indicated to me that there will be another higher low, and my stop loss was sitting quite low below this point here, below this price level, really near the 1.86 round psychological level, but a little above. And when it had this big move to the downside, I decided to cut my losses and jump out of this position much earlier. And as you can see, it would have stopped me out immediately, so it was good that I closed this position a little earlier this time. So why is it on my list again? Well, I'm looking for a long position because I still think that this trade idea is valid. The recent weekly candlestick has closed quite neutrally, so it did not really indicate any direction that it wants to go up or down. And if we look on the weekly chart, the big picture, it looks like this could be a cup and this might be the handle. And if we have a push to the upside, this might be the breakout out of this cup and handle pattern formation, which is usually indicating, or which is usually a bullish price formation and might indicate a continuation to the upside. Pretty much on the lower time frame or in the daily chart, I'm now looking for a breakout or a breakthrough through this 1.86 round psychological level. I want to see the breakout, a higher low to open the position at this higher low then, and then profit off of the continuation of GBPCAD to the upside. Of course, it could also form a right shoulder here, and then it would be a head and shoulders pattern indicating a bearish reversal pattern, so then price might continue to the downside. However, this candlestick looks like this was a big liquidity grab, at least that's what it looks like to me, and I'm just waiting now for the price to have this breakout, the higher low, and then I want to open a long position. So let's go to the next pair, which is GBPNZD, and this has also been a pair from last week. And same story here, I also opened a long position and this one stopped me out as well, and I even reduced the stop loss here, so I get stopped out earlier, and it was pretty much worth it. It had the push to the downside, stopped me out, then it went up again, and I wanted to wait for a higher low here to open a long position again on GBPNZD, but right now it seems to be settling at this 2.26 round psychological level here, inside this area of interest, and around the 2.27 round psychological level. And those are two significant price levels. The weekly chart closed really red, so it does not look really good for this pair. But I'm expecting a correction to the upside anytime soon. Even though we broke the structure, I believe that there can be at least a correction up to the 2.31 round psychological level. And this is why I'm waiting for price to break through this round psychological level here again, give me the higher low to open a long position, and then profit off of the potential correction to the upside. Because right now it seems to be respecting this level quite well. Maybe in the beginning of next week it will just break through this level and then continue to the downside. If that is the case, this long position or this long trade idea is not valid for me anymore. But right now I just want to be patiently waiting and see what price is going to do. Maybe there's going to be the chance to open the long position. Let's have a look at the final pair already, which is USDJPY, and I decided to put it on this list because all those JPY pairs have been in a really significant uptrend so far, and USDJPY pretty much recovered quite well here. So it broke through the 155 round psychological level, and I'm waiting for price to come down into this area again, the area of interest, which has been support, and I really hope it will now turn into support again, sweeping some liquidity sitting below here, getting rejected from the 155 round psychological level, which is why I'm waiting for price to come into the area again. I set an alarm here. On the weekly chart, the recent weekly candlestick or the weekly candlestick from the week before looks like this has just been a gigantic liquidity grab, and now this weekly candlestick closed it as some kind of morning star formation, which looks like a weekly break and retest with a morning star entry signal. But of course I'm waiting for price to give me a better chance to profit off of a potential continuation, so I'm waiting for it, as I said, to come down into the area, and then the higher low or the shift of structure of this correction will be my entry signal, and then maybe USDJPY is going to continue to the upside in this big potential uptrend, and maybe we are even going to break this zone here, this price area, break through it, retest it, and then it will continue even higher. But this is going to take probably a couple of weeks, but I'm going to set an alarm already. For now, this is the trade idea for the coming week. Might take a couple of days for it to have the correction, but again, it's important to be patient. And that's already it with the main pairs for the coming week. Now let's have a look at the pair from last week and see how it has performed, which is CAD CHF. On CAD CHF, the plan was to wait for the retest of this area to open a short position here and profit off of a falling price. Now technically this trade is still valid, but I'm waiting, or I'm missing a further push into the round psychological level here. This has just been a really tiny push, and it does not really seem like it has rejected it clearly. We have the 50 EMA here, which has been rejected a little, and maybe it will even have the push to the downside in the coming week. But on a daily chart, this looks just a little too neutral for me, that there might be still a lot of buying power in the market. So right now I'm a little careful, but maybe this trade is actually going to be something for the coming week. I'm going to set an additional alarm here, and if it's going to have a second liquidity grab but then an immediate rejection, maybe depending on the price formation, I will change my mind and actually look for the short trade for the coming week here as well. But right now it has been just ranging so much that I do not see any clear entry anymore that the price could perform or could give me, which is why I just left it out of the coming week's list for now and just let it do whatever it's going to do. So far it has not really continued to the downside, it has been more ranging. And that's already it with this week's Sunday market analysis. I've analyzed the other pairs too, but I did not find any nice trades on those pairs. But I set price alarms, and if any of those alarms is getting triggered, I will have a look at the respective pair again and then see if I find a new suitable trade for the coming week. If you want to get notified whenever that happens, or if you're interested in regular trade updates on my actual running trades and notifications on when I open or close a position, then you can just join my free Telegram channel. I will put the link to it into the video description. You will also find the link to my other socials there. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below and I will try to answer your questions. Thank you for watching. I wish you a successful trading week. Remember to manage your risk properly, and see you next Sunday.